Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, January 19th. Hard to believe we're already 3 weeks in from the new year. I mean, time just never slows down, does it?
No.
So it's Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. You all know what time that is and what that means for the Capital District Kiwanis Foundation. And tonight we have Carrie Galloway, who is the executive director of Friends of Guest House, here with us. And she is specifically talking about a project that the Alexandria Kiwanis Club has worked with them. And so we're very excited to hear about it. We're very excited to have her here with us tonight. So, Carrie, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Jamie. It's great to be here. And I just wanted to thank you and everybody else for the opportunity to come on tonight and share with you a little bit about the collaborative relationship between Friends of Guest House and the Alexandria Kiwanis Club. I am Carrie Galloway. I'm the executive director for the last nearly 17 years at Friends of Guest House. Guest House is remarkable in a lot of ways. It is the only women's residential reentry program in Northern Virginia, and it's the largest residential reentry program in the state of Virginia. And I'm proud to say that the Kiwanis Club in Alexandria has been a partner of ours for many, many years, even before I took over as an executive director. So I inherited, but wonderfully, it's like a dowry, right? I inherited the Alexandria Kiwanis Club. They were super active. In Guest House is a 40, almost 50-year-old organization started by a woman who herself was coming out of federal prison and realized that even though she had some resources, some family to back her, returning to her hometown in Alexandria, that most of the women she was leaving behind did not have the same advantage of having family and community support. And so she got together friends and colleagues and community members, and they rented a little house in the Del Rey neighborhood of Alexandria and started welcoming women in. When I came along in 2005, the organization had been going through a big restructuring. They had some problems with the staff and the board, and so a group of citizens from the city of Alexandria and actually all around Northern Virginia had seen an article in the Washington Post and said, we can't let this program go under. And so they rallied and came together. They did a full renovation, about a $350,000 renovation of the house, the main house, where the women had been living. And the Kiwanis Club of Alexandria was phenomenally instrumental in making that happen for a cost of about $40,000 to the organization, which is amazing. So there were multiple Kiwanians on the board at that time, and as well as when I joined. And so we just developed this, incredible friendship and working relationship that's continued for this entire time. We simply could not do the work that we do with the women that we work with without their partnership. Not at all.
Nice. About how many women are there now?
So that's a really good question, Jamie, actually, because the program has grown a lot. So in 2004 and 5, when we reopened, revamped, re-energized the program, we had 9 women at a time in the residential program. Today we have 30 women at a time, and we have 2 locations. The house I was speaking of that the Alexandria Kiwanis Club helped renovate, and a newer location. It's been open for 2+ years now in Old Town Alexandria, where additional women live. So between the 2 houses, we have 30 women at a time, and they stay with us for 6 months. And during that 6 months, we provide them with a variety of supports, including everything from resume writing and building and interviewing skills to life skills, psychosocial groups to help them try to deal with the trauma, not just of being incarcerated, but also being having experienced a lot of abuse and neglect as young women, which ultimately for a lot of them led them to incarceration through substance abuse and bad relationships and mental health issues. And so we have a very robust workforce and life development program as part of what we do with the women when they come in. They get an assessment, and we talk to them about what their goals are and what their hopes and dreams are, and how we can help them achieve those goals. For some people, that's, I want to get a GED. A lot of people just really want to get a job and get back out there, pay their court costs and fines and fees, and pay child support. A lot of the women have back child support, and just, you know, get back into the community and be a respected and respectful member, you know, pay taxes and do all the do all the stuff that, you know, we want, what makes us all feel kind of normal, even if we don't like it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So grant that the Alexandra Club received was, you said, specifically related to a parenting program of some sorts?
Yeah. So again, they have the Alexandria Kiwanis have been a partner with us in so many amazing ways. And I definitely, the parenting partnership, they helped us launch. So we knew about 80% or a little bit more of the women have children. So the women that come into but they can't have their children while they're in our program. We don't have the space. It's not the design of what we're doing while they're with us. But we know that they have so many issues related to parenting that we see as barriers, or not as barriers, but more like opportunities. We'll reframe it. Areas for growth and expansion. Like, couldn't we all use that, right, with our parenting skills? Probably. I mean, because, as I said, over 80% of the women have children. Over 80% of those children are under 18, which means there's an awful lot of kids with an incarcerated parent. There was work to be done there. And so we tried various curriculums over the years. We finally found one that was specifically designed for incarcerated parents or people who had been incarcerated. It was kind of expensive both to purchase the curriculum and to get our staff trained, and a volunteer who just showed up like a miracle, who was a parenting coach and was really interested in working with us. So she also got training. Because of this grant, we were able to get multiple people trained, get all the materials that we needed, and really launch the program. Then we had COVID, which I'm sure, everybody has their COVID war stories. So we ran one or two programs, before we had to go virtual, and the two facilitators at the time, including the parenting coach, really felt that there was so much about the curriculum that was very interactive. They got to hold pretend babies. It was very it's a very tactile, very personal curriculum where the women interact with each other and one-on-one and groups, and they interact with the facilitators. That they felt that the virtual was not quite what they wanted it to be. So we we took a pause, and we also then tried to work to develop some not as robust as the curriculum was, but supports where the coach could work with people one-on-one and or work with them in groups virtually, but not staying with that curriculum. So necessarily hard and fast. So that's kind of what we did. Now, actually just in the last week, we've launched our latest version in person. Yay! We're socially distant, and we're so excited that we have this to offer our women again, because they learn so much. They have so much related to their parenting that's really troubling to them. They need to learn to talk to their children about where they've been and what they've done and the things that have led up to that as well. As you know, the kids, usually we see that children are really excited at first, usually, especially to reunite with their mothers. But they're also at the same time kind of mad or sad or disappointed. So we have to prepare the women for those reactions and help them to understand it's kind of natural and it's a progression of, of growth and maturity on the part of the kids. So it's really a complicated undertaking, and the opportunity to be able to support the launching of this program that the Alexandria Kiwanis gave us. Super important, really impactful. Yeah.
Wow, it sounds really amazing. And does that program last the whole 6 months that they're there?
No, it goes for 16 weeks, and it's a closed group, meaning you could catch up if you missed like maybe the first one or two, but after that the group needs to stay together and work together. And of course we understand life happens and sometimes people miss a session. So the facilitators are willing to, work with them to make that up as well. But yeah, no, it has a beginning and end.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really good. And do you by any chance know what the Alexandria Club does to do fundraising or did fundraising to raise the funds for this other than just our grant?
I am not 100% sure about that. I know they're terrific fundraisers in the community, and they're always doing all kinds of projects. And for all of our colleagues, that they work with in Alexandria to support them, they have like their nut sale during the holidays, and I know they do. They used to do a concert series or a concert once a year. I don't know if they've been able to. I know they haven't done that for several years, but yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not an expert on everything they do, but they seem like they're always busy doing a million different things in the community. Yeah. So amazing. Amazing.
That's so good to hear.
Yeah, really. I want to tell you something else, unless you have other questions.
No, go ahead.
Okay, because I just love to sing their praises because they've helped us in so many ways. They helped us buy a van. They helped us. So our van has a little Alexandria Kiwanis Club. On it. They helped us. Let's see, 2 years ago. Yeah. It's, time flies, helped us towards the purchase of a house for our aftercare program. So the women live with us for 6 months, and when they're in this residential program, it's 24/7 staff. And then they step down to still working with the case manager, but offsite and in supported housing. And we had rented for 3 years a big house in the west end of Alexandria, and had several women in there supporting each other and living congregately there, and we decided to purchase the house. It was such a successful model, and of course we turned to our friends at the Alexandria Kiwanis Club because they've just been so amazing for us. So that those are a couple of other I mean, they've just done so much. And I have to show you too. So the pearls that I have on, and I have pearl earrings too. I don't know if you can see those. When I first started the Kiwanis Club, as I mentioned, there was a couple of folks on our board that were Kiwanians, and they said to me they wanted to do something to recognize the graduates of the program, the women that had gone from residential and then into the aftercare program, which I was just discussing. And I said, oh, that would just be amazing. And we talked about it back and forth, and they said, one of their members who's amazing, and past president, Mary Ehlers, who owns a Nugget Jewelry. And she said, I would like to give each graduate a pair of pearl earrings. Mm-hmm. And so the club said, okay, we're going to do that. And we want to do it, in perpetuity for all the graduates. So the first class had 5 graduates in it. And then the next class had 7. Then we had 9, then we had 13, then we had 15. And every year it's grown and grown and grown. And every year the Alexandria Kiwanis Club has given every single woman that's graduated from our program a pair of real pearl earrings. Wow. And it is so significant that the women come in, they already know about it, and they're like, I want to graduate. I want to make sure I get my pearl earrings, that just shows you how they walk the walk, and they've walked it from the very beginning when people come into the house clear till the day they graduate. They're part of that journey. And it's really touching.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Really amazing. And it makes me proud to be an honorary Kiwanis Club member for the last 15 years. That was a big honor for me. They've invited me to be part, and I just love them.
Yeah. So Carrie, in case there's people listening from the community who maybe aren't Kiwanians, how can they support or help the Friends of Guest House?
Oh, that's a great question. So they can go to our website, which is friends.guesthouse.org, and look on our website. There are opportunities there to donate, of course, which is always wonderful and always appreciated. There are opportunities to volunteer. There are a lot of things that volunteers do for us. I mentioned already that we had a couple of volunteers. Oh, thank you. On our board. So there's that. There are volunteers who teach the workforce and life classes. There are volunteers who mentor. We have GED tutors and teachers, instructors. We have folks who provide transportation, maybe taking people to appointments. If an appointment is far away or it requires somebody to stay, it's really hard for our staff to take a whole day to do that. We have people who've taken the women to a court date. Maybe they have like a child custody case, which is really, really important to not only have, feel supported and have people there, which is really significant. We have people that do all kinds of stuff for us. We are so blessed with so many people that help do special projects, yard work and maintenance and sealing our decks and, making sure that we stay looking nice. We try to be a really good neighbor. So that, yeah, so there's plenty of ways for people to get involved. We just love our volunteers. Yeah.
Do they cook their own meals, or do you have people come in to do that, or?
Yeah, so the women do all the chores around the house. They do all the cooking, the cleaning, the yard work. Yeah, so they do that. Sometimes we have people drop off food though, and we have some super great youth groups, for instance, that like to cook and bring stuff over. They used to cook before COVID. They would come over and cook stuff with the women, like have a pizza night and play games or just kind of rap and hang out, which was super, super significant in both directions. One, for the women, it was super nice to feel connected to their community and like, oh, here's all these kids, they're so exciting and we have a lot of fun and they care about me and they don't even know me. It's really powerful. And that's kind of the thing with all the volunteers. Very powerful for them to have people give back. But sometimes we have people drop off food too, which is really, really nice. It's like, how nice it is at your house when you don't have to cook for the night. Somebody else brings food by. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love that. And we've had people come by and cook with the women too, which was really fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds really cool. Thank you again for coming on tonight and for sharing with us about Friends of Guest House. I had never heard of this, so this is really great to get the word out and also to share how the Alexandra Club is helping and supporting you all.
They are the greatest. I love those guys. And they're so much fun to hang out with too. By the way, if y'all haven't gone to one of their meetings, they are so funny. They crack me up all the time. I always get my like laughter out when I go because they really genuinely, they care about each other and the community. They love each other, but they like to really razz each other, and so it's very fun. And they do that while they give service. To me, that's just like, that's really great. Yeah.
Sounds. I'm sure I've met someone from the club, but I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. But we will. Hopefully, they are going to watch and hear that appreciation.
Oh yeah.
So
just super awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming on and for sharing this. And I think everyone that watched tonight or who will be watching in the future, and just as a reminder, we are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And we talk about different projects that the clubs are doing, as well as different topics going on within the foundation and the Capital District. So we'll see you again here next Wednesday at 7 p.m. And I hope everyone stays well and safe and warm.
Yeah.
Have a good night.